Good morning. So, yesterday I had just a wonderful day. Yesterday I left the house, just going on a hike, and then one thing led to another all day. I ended up getting home after 9 o'clock in the evening, which when I left the house in the morning, that wasn't. I was just going on a hike with the dogs. I ended up going to the Mediterranean and doing metal detecting. And then on the way back, I went to the hot springs. And at the hot springs, I met my twin. And we had a really, really nice evening together. It's one of the evenings that's going to go down in the history of my life. It was wonderful. And every time that I meet him, things get enhanced to me. Things come into focus for me more and more. It's amazing how that mirror just keeps on working, and it's like it gets to new depths. Um, and so, what I really want to talk about is the power of our words. How our words have power in them, the power of creation, and the power to steer our lives, and how our thoughts is what creates our words. And when we say our words, it's just like we know the power of affirmations. When we repetitively say something, it creates power. Think about it. Our words are um, are the simplest form of manifestation. It is taking thoughts or an idea and putting it into words. So born and making it come true into the world. And we use our words so lightly. So many times we're just on automatic zone. And the more that I pay attention to my words, the more that I'm finding little tiny details. I am also observing others and seeing that in others, a lot of times they speak about themselves without even knowing what they're saying, or saying, "Oh, I can't do that." If you already say, "I can't do that," you're never going to be able to do that, because every time you say, "I can't do that," you're reinforcing that you can't do that. You're telling yourself the story, and you're letting yourself off the hook for even trying to do that, whatever it is. I noticed yesterday that when I was talking to my twin, I was talking to him about the exercises that I do in the morning. And I told him, and I was realizing as I was saying it, and that's how this awareness, when you become more and more aware of yourself, you become aware of the thing that it is while it is happening. And I said to him that when I'm doing my exercises, that the first when I do like reaching for the floor, and that the first couple that I do is difficult for me to even reach the floor, and then after a few, I'm already easily reaching the floor. And while I was saying, I was thinking there has to be a better way to say this than it is difficult for me. And I was thinking this morning, and ever since then, it's been like running around in my head, because I'm very aware when other people use negative language about themselves, especially about themselves, because you are telling yourself a story about yourself. You can empower yourself with your words, and you can break yourself down with your words. And whatever the story is that you tell yourself, that is going to be true for you. Whatever you believe to be true is true for you. And so I was thinking a better way that I could have said it is maybe um, every time I reach for the floor, it becomes easier and easier. And that is it's so much lighter in words than saying this was difficult for me. It's reinforcing, oh, it's so difficult. And also, when you say words that are in a light, bright place, it brings your mind up to a light, bright place. And we tell ourselves these stories about us. It's abracadabra. Every word that you say is like magic. Your words are like magic, they create your reality. Um, so, for today, for instance, I am going to be working on my site. I am going to sit by the computer, and I am going to begin to work on my site. Yesterday, while we were there for a few hours. We ended up staying there quite a few hours together. It was like magic. It was like um, he put on, there was somebody there that had, there, see, now with the war going on, there aren't that many people out and about. It's almost like on the way home yesterday, you're going into no man's land. There's hardly any cars on the road. All of the beaches along the way are pretty much empty. You just meet a person here and there, and most of the people that you meet are similar, like-minded people, people that are living in this free spirit, in this way of, not in way of fear. Um, so yesterday when we were there were a couple of other people there that were really similar minded. One man came and he was building stairs there for the, just came to build stairs for for the entrance into the hot springs. Just out of the goodness of his heart. And there was somebody else there that was also drafted, and he had gone down to Gaza, and he'd come back home for a leave and just came there to get out of the mindset. And he found this bracelet and he gave it to me. And I feel like energy of places, of situations, get trapped into substance. That's why when we have a lot of clutter, and I was just having a conversation about this with somebody that is watching the videos, that's why when there's a lot of clutter, every single item that you own has an energy to it, or has attached emotions to it, and has meaning to it. So when you have a lot of clutter in your house, it's like you have all these entities around you, and it is like noise in your mind. It's clutter in your mind. It's constantly pulling your attention. Also, when you have a lot of things around you all the time, um, your mind is constantly going, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, this is bugging me, this corner is bugging me, and then you can't find that quiet in your mind because there's so much noise, visual noise around you, or emotional noise around you, or vibrational noise around you, or there's so many different meanings that are conflicting with each other, or fighting for your attention and for your focus. Visual stimulation, too much visual stimulation. And I really do believe that energy is trapped into substance just because of the attention that you give it, or the meaning that you give it. So it was really nice to get um, this bracelet yesterday. I don't wear uh, much jewelry. This is the red string that I sell, and it's kind of like a reminder of it's red string that I take to Rachel's tomb in Bethlehem, and I bless it there. But it's kind of like a reminder of her attributes, the attributes of wholeness and beauty and lightness. It's kind of a metaphoric reminder of keeping yourself pure. And so it's attached meaning. It's the meaning that you give it, and it serves as a reminder. And this bracelet that I got yesterday has the intention and the energy of yesterday in it. Every time that I look at it, it reminds me of that. And it can serve also as a reminder and as something that gives me strength. And so really, when you look at the mystical world, there's logic behind it. It's not just all high and, just like your words have power in them. Every word is like an archetype. Every word has an emotional vibration to it, from generations and generations and generations of attached meaning to that word. And if we use words to describe ourselves, or to describe our situations, or words of weakness, or words of hatred, or words that have a low vibration to them, then we are vibrating out that low vibration. And just by watching our own language, especially when we speak about ourselves and people that we love, it's like casting spells. Somebody wrote me on one of the videos. I get so much from these videos and from the comments that people write me, and people that are right in there with me in the conversation, because when you speak truth, when you find truth, truth is universal. Others, it's I might be saying the thing, but these things are resonating in you because these are truths that you already know and have come to in yourself. It just serves as a reminder and bringing it back to the surface. And the work that I am continuously doing is guarding my words and my vocabularies. There's that book of As a Man Thinketh, and I want to read that book again. I want to listen to it. It's an audio book, and it really teaches of that. It's by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, and you can find it in an audiobook. It's less than an hour long, but sometimes you have to, every time you listen to it, it brings you more and more and more, depending on the level that of the level of comprehension that you are at, the level of the spiritual awakening that you are at. Every single time you find more and more, and it's written so poetically, it like tickles your mind. It's beautifully written. I love that book. I think that it is probably my favorite book, and I've listened to it. I had to have listened to it at least tens of times, and every time it reminds me, and every time it takes me into that place of being whole and solid. Um, and Yesterday, my twin has a way of reminding me of things, and so today I'm going to be focusing on working on my book, and I've realized that I'm also going to bring the focus back to really watching my words. And I'm always finding more and more places to cleanse myself, and that is something that can easily be done. uh, Cleanse my words. Watch the words that I use. My words are creating my reality. My words, positive words, create a positive outlook, create a positive life. Negative words create a negative vibration, and put your focus on the negative. And also the music, all through each and every one of our senses we experience the world, and each and every one of our senses has power to it. And yesterday we were listening to this music, and he was introducing me to this music, and we were in the hot springs, and it's like this. You've probably seen me film it before. It's like this room, but it doesn't have a ceiling, so it's open to the starlight, and it's pretty much out in the middle of the wilderness. And but when you and you can hear water, like trickling water. And when we put on music, it kind of echoes. It like serves as like a cathedral kind of, and the water is bubbling. It was magnificent, and the trees outside and the stars. It was just something spectacular and soothing, and something to bring out the weekend. Here, the weekend, Sunday is the first day of the week. It's a work day here in Israel, and it's just like the energy of yesterday is in this bracelet, and every time that I will look at this bracelet, it's going to remind me of that, of yesterday. Yesterday was just magical. Um, so and we were talking about it. It's like going into heaven on earth. That is stepping into heaven on earth. And my twin was saying, he is also a spirit guide, and he guides people through spiritual awakenings, and through different difficult times that they see. Into the light. He guides people into the light and into their new. And he has his own style about him, believe me. It's not all a cushy mushy, uh, soft pillow stuff. It's more like smack bang, smack upside the head, wake up kind of style he's got going on. It's like cactus style. It's like it's like you say something false, you get smacked upside the head, and the sense get put back in. You leave with like this bucket of pain that you have to go through now, because it's like getting a mirror smacked in your face, like, but right upside the head. And that's his style. Like, his style is not coochie moochie. It's more like boom, bang, go deal with it now. So it's like a quick, fast awakening. I like his style. I mean, it's painful. It's certainly painful, but it's like the fastest track. It's like when you get smacked upside the head with your own truth and your own mirror, and you are forced into it and you're forced to deal with it. And believe me, you can, you're only able to get what you're ready to get. So it's not like if he gives those mirrors to people that aren't ready to get them, they won't get him. It just falls right off of them and they blame him, and that's it. It's until they're ready to get it, and then that door opens back up for them, and then they realize what, I know this from my own experience, and then you realize what he was saying, what it was that the lesson in that was, and where you were off. So, and I've seen it over and over and over with him. That's why I say, like, that he is the Messiah, like the external Messiah. I know that we are each our own internal Messiah, and we each have to do our own work and allow ourselves to let go. But having an external mirror, because sometimes when we're so stuck in these loops and these tunnel vision, which I did a video about yesterday, when we're so stuck in these loops, we don't realize where we're stuck. We can't see it. We need an external mirror to show us these places. And when you can really see it as a gift, you're getting a gift, even though it's a very painful gift. But what I was saying is that through our senses, we are touched. Our soul can be touched through each and every one of our senses, through taste, through sound, through touch, through smell, through sound. I'm missing one. Touch, sound, taste, smell, sight. So through every single one of these senses, there are healing properties. The world comes into us. That's how we perceive the world around us, is through these five senses. Imagine how it, like, if you didn't know what sound was, you couldn't imagine. If you didn't know what smell was, you couldn't imagine that it existed. So imagine how many things there are all around us that we just don't have the sensory equipment to pick up on. And we know that it's all around us because even in our own senses, we can see outside of the spectrum that there are things that we can't, like ultraviolet light that we can't see with the naked eye, or sounds that we don't hear that are so high pitched, or there's so much. There's just so much. And imagine how many things there are around us that we just don't have the sensory equipment to pick up on. Going off point. Actually, everything is on point. Everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. But so through the senses, and yesterday he was playing music for me that I had never heard, and I just laid there. They have like these slabs of concrete, and I just laid there and let it flow through me. And what I realized is that also with music, that music can is embedded in you. It goes into your soul. That's why when we hear a piece of music that we heard in a certain time, like 10 years ago, it'll all of a sudden bring up the same emotion that you had 10 years ago. It reminds you of something. And that's just like that with all of our senses. And the music that he was playing, it was the album was called Voices. I don't remember the artist, but it was exceptional. It's like it was all inclusive. It was just such round music, and then it had little think think in the middle of it. It's like a lotus flower that is surrounding you, and then in the middle it has like little pops of like flavor, like little tick tick little voices and little top. It was wonderful. And so what I want to do is I'm going to find that album, and I'm going to design my site and work on my site while listening to that, because I feel like that sets the atmosphere. It'll set the tone of what goes into that site and how into my site and how it is built. So I am going to take that energy and put it into my site because it's just the wonderful energy. And so Today I took a short walk right next to the house. I'm going back and I'm going to get started on my site. So wishing you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and listening. Our words have power to them. Watching our words is it's an easy, something practical, a step that we can easily do. Well, easily. It's simple, but it's one of the hardest things to do because we're so on automatic mode. But once you start becoming aware of your words, it also makes you aware of what you're saying, of what you're thinking. That book by James Allen really talks about that, about becoming aware of your thoughts, because your thoughts create your words, create your energy, create your interaction with the world around you and how the world interacts with you. So if you purify your thoughts, you don't have to watch your words. If your thoughts are pure, your words are going to be just as an extension of your thoughts. They're going to be pure. And watch the automatic. Even yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody, and he kept on saying negative things about himself, and what he is doing without even knowing it is creating this synergy, this energy that feeds itself, that is negative around himself. He's telling himself negative things, and I understand that he's doing it from his own insecurities and wanting attention and wanting others. It's probably something that he picked up on as a child, that if he says something bad about himself, somebody else comes and says, no, you're not that way. You're no, look up. It's a way of getting attention. But in the meantime, he is belittling himself and making his own path smaller. And when you say words about yourself, you are also hearing those words. That's why affirmations are such a powerful tool to build ourselves up with. But then for the rest of the time, we need to watch our words too, so that we're not sending ourselves um, signals that are opposite. Um, so that is what my current place is. I'm really watching my words rising into the highest form of being, that I can, that I am in my highest timeline. I really do feel like from yesterday, there really is like a still there. It's what my twin was saying yesterday, and that was something I started saying, is that the amount of hardship is the amount of, that the more hardship that there is in the world, and the more pain and suffering that there is, it opens up the extreme on the opposite side, the more joy and the more beauty. And because it creates its contrast. Everything is polarizing, and that's something that I've also been talking about, how everything is polarizing. And it's like when you're going through this spiritual awakening, to the depths that you're able to go into the pain, those are the amount of the heights and joy that you are able to feel, because by going through the pain, you're able to release it, and then you are free from it, which allows you to go even higher, um, in the heights of your experience, because you don't have that pain in you anymore, pulling you down and holding you and not allowing you to fully experience life. And it's just like the amount of evils that there are in the world. It's like the dark forces, and the fear-based thoughts, and the controlling. The more that they try to control, the more people escape from the cracks and realize that they're free beings, and the more light is coming into the world. So if you think of it that way, you can kind of see how it is. The more the system tries to control you, the more people are breaking free from the system, because they can't go into that dense energy anymore. They can't be held down in that way. Your soul wants to be free. Your soul knows who you are. Um, and so that's the waking up process, and the path to enlightenment, the path to fully becoming your own being, and breaking away from the consensus and the mainstream and the controlling entities, and even the controlling entities within yourself. Your demonic beings that have come in, and that they attach themselves to your archetypes, right? That's the shadow work, because each archetype that flows through you, which are behaviors, your archetypes are your behaviors, um, that come through. It's like having these patterns of behavior on you. It's like you have your soul, which is completely non-attached to anything, and then you have to have like you have your ego sitting under your soul, and then through that are archetypes, which are like patterns of behavior that are universal. And these archetypes have shadows and they have powers. So if you cleanse yourself from the shadows and you stand fully in your archetype and fully embrace your archetype and use it come into control of your archetype, then these are your superpowers. Your archetypes, it's like I did a video yesterday about empaths. So that is an archetype. It is a pattern of behavior. It is like a tfus. It's universal. That's how we communicate with each other. That's how we can see what each other are thinking or talking about, or that's how we communicate and we're able to connect to others, because each of us have some of these patterns within us so that we can recognize them in another. And when we rise into the strengths of our archetypes, then the shadows fall exposed. There's light on the shadows, and then you can see through the shadows. And what happens is when we're hiding from these strengths and we're not fully standing up and owning them in our own because of the system, because of how we were raised, because of our beliefs that that we are not enough, that we are inadequate, or afraid of what other people are going to think of us, so we don't fully stand up into our full power or take control or harness our archetypes, or the power of our archetypes. Then we allow space for these like demonic entities, you could call them, or ways of behavior that are shadow ways of behavior that many times we don't even know that they're there, because that is how these shadows work. You don't see them because you're hiding yourself from them, because because this weakness gives you an out. It's just like the words that the man that I was speaking with yesterday, that unknowingly he kept on saying things that were negative about himself, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't realize we're not taught who we are. We're not taught about these powers. We're not taught that words have power to them. Every single word is an archetype. Every single word has attached meaning and vibration of generation and generation and generation of use of that word. So if we're using a word that has negative impact to it, or a negative meaning to it, or negative vibration, and we're saying it about ourselves, we're hearing it through our own mouth, which is the voice that we know the very best. So if you think about it, it's like we're feeding into ourselves these negative thoughts about ourselves. And to become aware, it almost has to be like you go into Vipassana, and then every word that you speak, you choose. It's like if you change your diet, you completely quit eating everything, and then you slowly add one food in at a time, and then you can see what foods do what to you. Um, and really, you don't even have to be a magician to understand this. If I say something like, "You're a beautiful soul," it has a completely different vibration than me telling somebody you're an asshole. I mean, you can just feel it in the words. I almost want to cleanse myself from that. So when you begin to purify yourself, these negative words will start standing out to you as well. It's almost like you can't be negative anymore, because the vibration, as you say the words, the vibration irks you. Um, and so I'm watching my words. I'm watching my words. I was saying about the archetypes. Was there something there? These entities, these entities that come in, it's like coming in through the cracks. It's like your demonic entities. And I know that sounds very churchy or religious, and I'm not saying it from a religious way. You can look at words as entities. You can look and you can see the dark forces that come into you and take over you. And really, ever since I've been able to begin to see ever since I've began to remember past lives, there's so many other things that are coming into play. I'm able to see guardian angels and really feel their presence, but I can also feel these entities. And since I've been removing and doing aura cleaning and self cleaning myself, um, I see these entities, these like when I cleanse myself of them, I can see that they are still in my presence. They're still around me, but there is no entry point for them. And I feel like that many of these entities have been with me. Um, and you can just call it dark forces, you can call it negativity. You know, the negativity is always all around you. You find it in other people that are around you too. You can look at these entities in many different ways. It's helpful when you can see them for what they are. Um, but as I see them, I feel like that they're. It's almost like that we belong together because they have been with me since childhood, and then I removed them from me, but I can still feel their presence. It's like they are lurking, but lurking in a way that is not threatening to me. It's kind of in a way of awareness. It's not threatening to me because of the light place that I have risen to. They don't have an entry point, and their place is not within me. But I feel like they feel connected to me, and I feel they have um, they have good wishes towards me, and they're proud of me, and they want to see in my success. And I feel like that in my embracing them, in my embracing them and their purpose and their right for existence and the gifts that they have given me, which they have given me the contrast between dark and light. They have given me the knowing of their existence so that I can really appreciate the light and appreciate the darkness. And in embracing them, they are embracing me and want for my success, and I can feel that they are also moving towards my success and want all good things for me. And in and that they are almost like that in a way. They are almost like assigned to me in this lifetime. So even though I have removed them from my being, they're still always in my presence and still always around me, supporting me. And every day I thank them for their service and for their good wishes towards me and for them embracing my path and for helping me. Um, if you would have told me a year ago that I would be speaking about these things. And so I know how this sounds, but it's 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 true for me like light of day. I mean, how is light of day any less miraculous than that? You know, just this life in itself. When you look around you, uh, we're so accustomed to heaven that we take it for granted. Oh, yeah, the plants come out of the earth. But what creates that plant? What makes the plant come up and do its whole cycle of life? And another thought that I was having this morning is that cycles like the yearly cycle is relevant is relevant to us, is relevant to the sun, but there's so many different cycles. Every single every single entity, every single plant, every single animal. Well, okay, so we're all connected. We're connected to the sun, but the moon has a completely different cycle. Humans have a different cycle. Each plant has a different cycle to it. Each animal has a different cycle to it. And so everything is relevant. And the cycles that we have created, like the cycle of the yearly cycle, or is the cycle that we have invented. There are butterflies that have a 1 day cycle, and the whole cycle of their life is in that. And within that, there are many different cycles. So that was just a thought that I was having this morning when I was waking up, kind of when you're in that twilight zone in between sleep and wake. And that's when I do my meditation, my affirmations as well. So wishing you a wonderful day. I'm going to get busy on my site. I'm going to find that album and going to put that energy into my productivity. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Sending you so much love and so much love and strength on this path and journey.